You don't know who Pearly Things is, congratulations, you are not chronically online. And I also want to apologize in advance for having to expose you to her, especially when you see some of the creepy, messed up things that she has said. But just to give a TLDR for those who don't know who she is a panderer and a LARPer in the manosphere. She targets lonely men and uses and manipulates them for the grift. Okay, and she does not follow any of the advice and any of the criticisms that she has against other women. Let's be real, there's plenty of criticisms that we can have with society, with both genders, and with women, and specifically with feminism. It has plagued society and it has caused problems for women. And in the same way, the manosphere is just like feminism, and it's hurting men more than it's hurting women. Okay, it's all a guise. It's all a psyop, just like feminism is, right? But anyway, let me just dive into the video because you guys are in for a wild ride. I ratioed this woman, and I don't like to come after people, but in this case, when it comes to these sickos, I will. So anyway, first I made this tweet because what's trending online right now with these gender wars is to tell women that after 40, they're worthless, essentially. You're constantly seeing that. You're constantly seeing people on Twitter say, oh, who's hotter? Was she hotter when she was 25 or when she was 40? Oh, and blah, blah, blah. Like, who freaking cares? At the end of the day, who freaking cares? Why are we feeding into this gender war, first of all? But because of that, and I wanted to make this tweet because I've seen a lot of women who have been hurting and sad because they've seen this stuff. It hurts their feelings. At the end of the day, it's going to hurt men in society more than anything, but still it had hurt their feelings seeing this thing. There was one girl who was 27 years old and was saving herself for marriage, a Christian girl who's never been with a man before, and she's looking for her future husband and she just hasn't found him yet. And so seeing this narrative of, oh, she's about to expire because she's past the age of 25, it just makes things feel bleak for her that, oh my gosh, like I'm worthless, and I'm worthless now, and I ain't even ran through, I ain't even this, that, or the other, like these gurus are claiming. And she possesses all of the qualities that these gurus say men want, and yet here she is still having a hard time, which shows that society at large there's a big issue with that. But instead of diving too much into that, and I don't even want to spend too much time into this because there's a much bigger topic at hand, and that's with the disgusting perversion. Okay, and I'll show that in a minute. But first, I just wanted to show an example of, hey, can we just stop the gender wars, and can we stop the transactional, like men are only valuable if they are rich and women are only valuable if they're young? Can we stop this narrative and start uniting people more again? Stop this gender wars and start saying, hey, maybe people should, I don't know, here's a novel concept, try to look for a life mate for love purposes, right? And here I posted like this little inspiring type quote earlier in the day about putting others above ourselves and how that brings us more joy than being selfish ever could. And after I did that, this older gentleman said, if I could find a 60-year-old version of you, I'd have a ring on her finger yesterday. And I just thought, hey, you know what? This is a good example to use about this gender war stuff going on right now, that when they say nobody's going to want a woman after she's 40, it's not true. There's other men who are 40 or 50 or whatever, who some even younger, who might want her because they might fall in love with her and care about her as a human being, And that was the point I was making, is don't let anybody, and I even specified here, regardless of your gender, don't let gurus place value on you, not on your looks, not on money, not on status or anything like that. Your value should come from the Lord. And these gurus are profiting on making people feel insecure, and they're con artists. There's gurus who appease to men and women alike and are hurting them in this process. So I wanted to stress this because, whatever stage you're at in your life, no matter what mistakes, and again, regardless of gender, anybody who's watching this, I want you to see this and know that wherever you're at in your life right now, whatever mistakes you've made, whatever age you are, whatever job status you don't have, whatever money you don't have, don't let that make you feel worthless. Seek Jesus, okay? Seek Jesus. God made you for a reason, and you are special for that reason. And it's not too late to just do the best with what you've got and to turn your life around, give your life to Jesus, and live the life that he has planned for you. That was the point that I wanted to stress with this. So I made this tweet. Pearl, of course, has to quote tweet it. And she goes, delusion. No one says no one will want her, but it's significantly harder to find a relationship at 40 as a woman. She says, there's a lot of issues with this, but first of all, she has implied this, that no one will want her. People in this sphere have implied that women over 40 are worthless. Just like people in the female sphere, the gold diggers imply that men are worthless if they're not rich. Okay, so there's an issue to be had here. So first of all, she is twisting the narrative. But secondly, dude, let's be real. It's harder for everyone to find a relationship at 40 versus 20 because a lot of the 20-year-olds, they date each other, they marry each other. And, by the time you reach 40, in a lot of cases, you're encountering a lot of people who have been divorced or for whatever reason in their life haven't found a relationship. That could be due to baggage or not. And a lot of us who are older, for me, I'm 36 years old. There's some baggage associated with me. I'm divorced. So, hey, that's life. What is the point in doing this? What is the point in trying to hurt people? What is the point in that? And in her case, she is trying to pander to men, to lonely men, and in the process, she's going to hurt them because statistically speaking, it's men who are suffering more than women. Okay? 28% of 40-year-old men have never been married versus 22% of women the same age. Okay? Men are hurting the most from these gurus. So anyway, I quote tweeted her because she actually said this recently. I said, silence, pedo. She says, I don't even want to repeat this. You guys can read it yourself. It's just disgusting. It's disgusting. And these are the type of people she is pandering to. And it really comes as no surprise when you obsess over a woman's youth and putting her entire value over her youth, then yeah, you're going to appeal to a bunch of perverts. You're going to appeal to a bunch of pedos, quite frankly. And that seems to be exactly the case with her, with what she's saying here. And she has said other things as well. Now, this, I believe, I don't know what this is completely in reference to. I think maybe Mohammed, because she talks about Islam some, but I might be wrong there. I'm a Christian. I'm not versed in Islam, but that's just what I thought it was about. She says, others are saying it's okay. I don't even like reading this. I'm not even going to read it. You read it. You read it. I don't even want to read it. I feel sick to my stomach even looking at it. Perversion. Disgusting. Okay? There's no excuse for any of this, what she said. How can you... I could get... How? Disgusting. And this is what, and people want to downplay this stuff and make excuses for this stuff. But what we have to really point out here is that these pedos and these perverts are blurring the lines. They are trying to blur the lines and change definitions, as I've said here, because look at what this guy said. Again, I will not even read it. I will show it on screen and you can read it. This guy just out in the open, unabashed, says this. Disgusting pervert that are just running rampant, not even afraid. And these gurus are emboldening them. They are giving them confidence to say these disgusting things. I said there are more perverts and pedos out there than we realize, and they are becoming more emboldened by the minute. They want to change terms. They want to blur the lines, but we can't let that happen. Call them out, shame them, to hell with them. Which is exactly how I feel. Burn in freaking hell. Disgusting. And when I say, oh yeah, they want to blur the lines, that is no exaggeration. Just in this tweet alone and in the replies and all kinds of stuff, there are these disgusting, gross 30, 40-year-old men in the replies saying, oh, well, you can't use the word pedo if they've been through puberty. Shut the heck up, bro. Shut up. Disgusting pervert. That is that they're trying to blur those lines, and then they're going to keep blurring them more and more and more. We cannot let this slippery slope happen, because slippery slopes do happen. We've seen them pervert society. We cannot allow this. Do not let them change terms. Just, girls can go through puberty at like 9 as well. We're not gonna be shifting the goalpost on this, okay? A pedo is a pedo, and I will call it like I see it, like we see here, and like we see here. So, yeah, she got colossally ratioed on this. Twitter was a trip yesterday. I was trending. This whole topic just exploded. But this is disgusting. And I want to tell people, and I cannot stress enough, I want to tell you guys, if anybody is following her, even any other of these manosphere gurus, and for the women who are following these gold digging gurus as well, these people who push this crap, they're made for each other, right? Because this is a woman is only worth something if she's young. Well, what happens when a guy, let's say a 40-year-old guy does get a 19-year-old, and then he finds out that she can't have children? Then what? Then he's just going to discard her and throw her to the side because she's worthless now? Let's look at an example from the Bible when Abraham was with Sarah and she could not conceive. He stuck by her because he loved that woman. That was his wife. And so while he did take her servant and have a child with her, that wasn't even his choice. That's what she asked him to do. She wanted him to do, and there were problems that arose from that as a result, because that was not the way that God intended for a husband and wife to become one with one another and all that. And now later Sarah did conceive because that was God's promise for her, and it happened. But to me, that is just a beautiful example of how, they were together and loved each other. And a biblical example of marriage is not just a entirely transactional thing. Now, there are some standards, there are some preferences that people are going to have on both sides, and both sides should equivalently be able to match those standards and their expectations in their own way. But like I said earlier, what happened to telling people that, hey, how about we look for our husbands or wives out of love? How about we let that be the main focus instead of treating people like disposable cattle? All of this transactional, I see it from the women's side on TikTok all the time, with these women who are just like, oh yeah, you need to be with a guy who's a little bit uglier than you at the very least, because then you can manipulate him more. And you don't want a guy who has options, but he has to have a whole bunch of money. That it's just pure manipulation, and it is selfish, and it is disgusting. And I don't know how anybody could live a happy life being so selfish, because love is a selfless thing. Love is placing people above yourself. So how can you truly love if you are only with somebody for what they can do for you? You can't. And this manosphere, womanosphere, whatever the crap, both sides are ruining society. They are ruining dating. They are hurting people. And there are innocent people stuck in the crossfire of it all as well. Now, here's what I kind of wanted to close on here. I made this tweet where I said Twitter was a riot today, because it was. I was trending. I said, in all seriousness, though, what the manosphere and womanosphere do alike is pit us against each other, and that's not good. Society's problems don't fall on just one gender. The real problem is spiritual warfare. Twitter isn't real life, thank God, which is, yeah, I mean, I said it. And so I can't stress this enough, guys. Do not. Now we're going to sometimes take advice from other human beings. That happens. But just realize that human beings are flawed. Okay? Don't put too much. Don't put too much value in a human being's advice. I don't care who they are, even mine. Look at the Bible. My goal when I'm giving people advice is to try to offer advice from a biblical lens as much as possible. We should be seeking the Bible for life advice. Okay? And people who can say, oh, well, I'm not a Christian, blah, blah, blah. What about this? What about that? Look at all of God's commandments. Look at how when we veer from the Bible, society crumbles. There's a reason for it. So whether you believe it or not does not make it any less true than it is. So even if someone is amazing, a really, good, moral, upstanding person, you cannot take all of your life advice from a flawed human being who has made mistakes and who will continue to make mistakes. I speak as myself too. I have made mistakes. I've made mistakes way in the past. I've made mistakes recently, and I will make mistakes in the future. And I just give everything to God, and I pray that I can do better and stay on the path to prevent even more mistakes from happening. Okay? So the last thing I want to do is have people put all their faith and trust in me, because I'm not going to be perfect, and I'm not going to always lead people in the best direction. I even when I'm doing the best I can. Put your faith in Jesus Christ. Read your Bible every single day. The Word of God is alive. Okay? And you will experience that when you soften your heart and read it. All right? So enough of this bullcrap. Enough of following these disgusting pedos and sickos. All right? Follow Jesus. Period. So anyway, there you have it for this video. I really didn't want to spend too much time on personal opinions and personal anecdotes. I wanted to shine a light on the bigger picture here and the bigger issues to be had here. So I hope that I was able to accomplish that because I don't want to insert my own biases and all that kind of stuff. So let me know in the comments below what you think. Thank you so much for hearing me out today. As you do when you watch my videos, it means a lot to me. Let me know what you think in the comments. And don't forget, read your Bible today. Do not go to bed without reading a chapter of the Bible. You got this. Thank you again for watching. I'll catch you next time. And in the meantime, go boom.